All right, guys, we are back here on Shattered Darkness. This is episode number 51. 51, dude. That's crazy to think about. Next week is like a full year.
Wow.
Yeah, right? 52 weeks. I'm joined today, as always, my producer, co-host, honestly, the lifeblood of this thing, Elliot Osters. How you doing today, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Honestly, I just want to express gratitude. You know, like this thing started when we started this. It's like looking back on like our first episode. It's crazy to just see how far we've come in 18 months. And honestly, it's because of you guys and the engagement that we're getting from all of you. So we love you. We appreciate you. Also want to shout out Love Shack. If you guys notice, our space is awesome. Definitely fits our vibe a lot better. But we are in the basement of the Love Shack Mocktail Bar on 4th Street. They're our first official corporate sponsor. The address is 120 East 4th Street. It's the only mocktail bar in northern Colorado. Honestly, I can't say enough about the environment here. It's really growing and building, and the owners here and the managers are doing something really fantastic for the sober community. So I just want to give Love Shack a shout out. Han Casera is doing some amazing things, and Elliot is helping him with that. So make your way down here. Coffee, great mocktails. It's a huge space. So come do some meetings here, business meetings, coffees, things like that. So, and I think you guys said you just got your food license?
Yeah, we just got our full food restaurant license.
That's
now,
awesome. So yeah, come get some breakfast.
But
yeah, right. Just one more thing
we got
plate.
Homemade breakfast burritos upstairs now that are this big versus
That's what I'm talking
this
about.
big. So yeah.
So come on down, Love Shack, 120 East 4th Street in Loveland. It's a great environment, and we love them so much. So today we are actually going to kind of do a little bit of a recap. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. Speaking of like our first episodes, I was actually the first person that shared my story. And I'm not going to go too far into my story, but I do want to retract some things and some ideologies that I had, some things that I said 18 months ago when we started this thing.
Everybody's going to go back and watch the first episode.
I know. You guys do it, man. Like, honestly, pay attention to like where we were production-wise to where we are now. It's mind-blowing. Like, we were literally just in like some closet in an office, and it looked like shit. You know, but we just kept doing it, you know? So anyways, I just want to go back. I feel like there's some things in my story, some things that I didn't take accountability for that I should have, you know, and we just kind of want to share a little bit about our vision, our mission for the podcast, and just kind of what we've learned over the last, you know, year to 18 months. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're excited to get into it. So yeah, dude, I guess we'll just get into it.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I guess I'll start by saying, like, if you guys go back and listen to episode number 1, I blamed a lot of shit on my upbringing, you know, and which is definitely, my upbringing was awesome. Like, I have to go back and as tough as things were for me personally, like, our situation was awesome.
Yeah.
We lived outside on a lake and had jet skis, and I would say, if anything, we were on the other side of life where it was like too much, like good stuff, you know?
Yeah.
We had too many things.
Yeah.
You know, and kind
Not
of
enough friction.
Yeah, dude, and just got
Healthy
spoiled.
friction.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, not enough like just practice, like in, like you said, friction. So our life was good, very good, like almost too good. You know, raised in church, all of that stuff. There's a lot of hypocrisy. I noticed a lot of hypocrisy in the church from a pretty young age. So that always kind of like, I don't know, man. I just never really felt connected to it. Mm-hmm. It just felt very like fake to me. And it was just something that you did on Sunday because it was a social engagement, you know, but nobody was really living their life in accordance to like what we were being taught on Sunday. And I just remember really young being like, this doesn't make sense to me, you know? So I don't know, take that for what it is. Like, I've always believed in God. I've always believed in Christ. Like, no matter how far I've tried to run away from that, it's always been a constant in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you remember what age or what the thought process was that you kind of started having those thoughts, or was it just as early as you can remember?
Dude, so I don't really remember this, but my parents told me, like, So in the Christian faith, like to become saved, right, you accept Christ into your heart and basically agree to live in accordance with that, right? Like building a relationship with Christ, like all of those kinds of things that Christ called us to do. So, but then that resonated with me, right? And I don't remember this, but my parents said when I was like 3, I like came downstairs crying because I was afraid I was going to go to hell, you know? And when I was dedicated as a baby, again, this was told to me, the guy that dedicated me, my mom told me that he was just very overwhelmed with like the spirit of leadership. So that was always spoken over me my whole life. I've always identified with it. You know, my dad was that way. So it's just like I was indoctrinated by leadership, by the church, you know, by that biblical ideology, which in my opinion, like today, I still believe it. You know, in my opinion, like I just think that it got twisted and misrepresented, you know, through people, which people do. But I don't know, dude, like I'm grateful as I sit here today. I'm grateful for the things that I went through, right? Like, yes, my parents did certain things, but did they do them maliciously? No. You know, they were living their life, right? They were doing the things that they worked hard to enjoy, right? Like they left and went on a trip for 4 months when we were later years in high school. You know, and so like, but I identified with that as like this pain moment, right, of abandonment, you know, and then I just let that permeate my life, right? And that idea of like, oh, they don't love me, right? Or they didn't care enough to stay around.
Yeah.
Which is, dude, like, you know, like that's just being a victim.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like at the beginning of this podcast, I was still very much in that mindset, you know, of like, I think I was trying to find grace for myself, you know, for everything. And it's easy. I think it's easy to do that when you blame other people for what's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, hey, I'm going to take this off my plate. I'm going to put it on you. Right. And that's immaturity, I think. I think it's all part of the healing process, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about addiction, is it forces you to look back and be like, was that really them? You know, and really start taking accountability for everything, and not just the things you want to.
I mean, it's step 2 in our process, right? Vulnerability, personal accountability.
Yeah.
Right. And there's none. And why do we do that? Why do we, like you, and not a rhetorical question, right? Like, why do you think that it's important for us to take personal accountability?
Because I think taking personal accountability, until you take accountability for everything, there's almost no hope of taking credit. Credit isn't the right word, but until you accept that you are a part of everything, you can't control anything either.
Dude, that's very true, right? And it's I think about it in the way, like I'm explaining to my kids right now. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I hate when this happens. Personal accountability.
Control of everything, accountability of everything.
And I had like something super good to say. Yeah, like say that again. Say your definition of personal, like, why do you think it's
I think that until one takes responsibility for everything, you don't have any, like, until that happens, you don't have any hope of really controlling anything.
Right, I agree, right? You're not seeing the entire picture. Okay, so this is what I tell my kids. I remembered. It's like lying, dude, but you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when my kids lie to me, I tell them, I'm like, I'm not getting you to tell me the truth so that I can like discipline you, right? I want you to tell me the truth so I can really help you.
Yeah.
You know, if you lie to me and you don't tell me what's actually going on, I'm going to plug into your life the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right? In a way that you don't need. Like, I'm not here to smack you around when you do something wrong. That's not my role, but I am here to guide you. Yeah. Right? And so it's the same thing, dude. Personal accountability, in my opinion, is it's the same thing, right? We're lying to ourselves, you know, and it's like, until we can actually take this thing and be like, okay, like, yeah, this really sucks, but it happened, right? And I did it. And until you can really take accountability for things, like, you can't look at the entire picture of who you are, right? You can't pick those pieces out and be like, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling in this area of my life, right? And so it's like, I think it just lays out everything, all of the broken pieces right in front of you. And then it's like you get to kind of pick which ones you want to put back together, and which ones you realize are damaging and you need to sweep off the path.
Yeah.
And so that's like, I think that for accountability is that for me, right? Like, you got to stop lying to yourself. If you really want to find grace and move forward in these steps in this process, like, I think it starts there.
Yeah.
It's in AA. It's one of the first 5 steps in AA, and so.
And really, any like kind of religious, spiritual belief.
I was going to say, take it outside of addiction.
Yeah.
Like you want to start working out and it's just something that's not in your routine. Like that in of itself requires accountability, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, what does my day actually look like, right? What am I actually doing between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 a.m.? Probably nothing super important, right? So it's like, okay, now I've got to train my brain. One, I got to be accountable about what I'm actually doing here. And then I've got to plug this into my calendar. And now I've got to train my brain to do it, right? For it to become a habit.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy you brought this up because over the weekend I went home and I realized something, a couple things, but the main thing was that I'm always saying I'm so busy, but then when I look at my schedule or what I'm doing, especially during the nights, because I've been staying up until like 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm working on the podcast. It's like, am I really though?
Right.
And the addiction journey has led me to the point, recovery of it is leading me to the point that I realize, no, I'm actually like doom scrolling for like 2.5 hours every night, sitting in front of my computer calling it work.
Right. Dude, and that's the thing. It's like, if you're in that environment, right? I do this with my office. If I'm in the environment, in my mind, I'm working. Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like I created a personal schedule that's like 4:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night, every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But on that, between 8:30 and noon, it just says office.
Yeah.
Right. I have a whole nother schedule that's written out, blocked out every 5 minutes for that 8:30 to noon. Right. So it's like inside of my schedule is another schedule, is another schedule, is another schedule. Right. But it's, and like, I look at that. And even Ashley's like, dude, this is crazy. Like, you'll never be able to accomplish all of this. And I'm like, maybe, but this is what I'd like my awesome day to look like. This is what I will never fall below.
Yeah.
Right. And I have it. Right. So there's grace inside of that. Right. So, but I think to get to that point of change, of really implementing change in our life, it starts with accountability. Right. And so wrapping this all back to my story, like, I just don't feel like I did that. I remember my parents being kind of upset about us doing this and releasing this. And, it didn't really draw them in a great light, which I need to recant because my parents are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they've been there through every step of my life, like crazy dude. My mom was the one that saved my life when I punched a window. I don't even know if I talked about this in my last episode, but.
Well, I'm happy you brought that up because over the weekend when I was driving back, I was listening to Chris Williamson with Modern Wisdom. Yeah. If you haven't checked him out,
he's awesome.
Number 4 podcast in the world.
Okay.
Doing a great job. Nice. So shout out to Chris Williamson if he ever hears this. Modern Wisdom.
Good job, bro.
But the guest was talking about how essentially accountability and how it's not really, it's unaccountable to blame your parents for all the bad stuff, but then not to give them credit for
the good stuff,
resilience and strength and morals
we
and
take
mental
credit
process.
For all that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was all me. They had nothing to do with that,
Yeah, but they caused all the problems.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not how it works. All right, and that's just immaturity, And again, I think there's grace for all of that stuff, right? Like, it's all process.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that, like, I had a very good upbringing. I think my major issues, and this has all been uncovered over the last 18 months through psychiatry, is I'm like mildly bipolar with a serious mood disorder. Mm-hmm. Right? So I don't really know what the fuck that means. I actually had to look it up to see if the stuff I was on were antipsychotics, which they're not. They're just mood stabilizers. So basically, my brain naturally produces high amounts of dopamine, which is that emotional, right? The euphoric part of your brain. Like, so mine naturally produces high amounts of that, so because of that, I'm going to struggle with emotion, high bouts of negative emotion, right? So through all of this, we uncovered the fact that I tried to commit suicide when I was 13 years old. You know, like, so all of that tied together, like, dude, I was just a ticking time bomb, you know, naturally. Like, my parents had nothing to do with that. You know, I would say, if anything, and again, not anybody's fault because of the state of the world, like, I probably needed to be in psychiatry as a kid, you know, but at the same time, was I going to receive that? Probably not.
Well, it was lack of knowledge back
At
then,
10
too.
years old, dude. Like, how are you supposed to go in and learn about neuroplasticity and all this shit when you're 10 years old?
Well, they didn't even know about neuroplasticity back then, you know?
You know,
so
and
this
so
is all new stuff.
They're dealing with the current social stigma of whatever, right? Like, mental health is not a thing. You suck it up, you deal with your problems, and you move on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that was my dad's approach to things. Not his fault. Like, that's how he was raised, right? So I just say all of that to say, like, dude, all of it happens, right? The whole pot was stirred. The whole soup was created to put us right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm grateful for that. You know, and now in my life, it's like when things get hard, it's an opportunity. You know, it's like we realize that, like, okay, we're in a season of growth, right? Like, if this is super hard, if my marriage is really hard and I'm struggling with X or whatever, like, okay, let's press into that because we're going to learn something, right? So now we're realizing, like, dude, only true growth comes out of pain, comes out of failure, right? It comes out of the mess. But it's up to us to choose that.
Yeah.
Right.
Take the message, leave the mess.
Yeah. And dude, I honestly think my biggest issue for 20 years was I didn't know what my purpose was. You know, and I'm that kind of person that's like, I need to be directed in a certain way. Like, I'm not a highly creative person, right? Like, I get ideas and things like that, but I struggle to put them into action.
You're more the engineer.
Yeah, the idea guy, right?
Yeah,
I'm the one that's got all these crazy ideas that everybody's like, whoa, dude, what? But then you meet Elliot's, you know, and they're like, yeah, dude, let's do that. So it's just, I don't know, like, it's just recognizing who you are, you know, and that all comes during the process. You know, and just what tools and what gifts that you were given, created with, and how you can use those to impact your immediate world, right? Whether it's your family, your kids, your wife, maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's your extended family. Maybe it's your community, you know, maybe it's nationwide. Who knows? Like, whatever that thing is inside of you. So now it's like I get addicted to that, like, energy, dude. Like, it's like I'm awake but plugged in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard that in a song and I was like, dude, that's probably the best way to describe, like, a spiritual, not awakening, but just like moment where you're like, oh my God, I'm alive right now.
Yeah.
You know, and you feel it. Like, it's like you're plugged in, man.
Locked in.
Yeah, man. It's just like everything in the universe is working for you. And that's the kind of stuff that we chase, right? And it's through the grit, through the grind, through climbing the mountain, like, we get to experience those things, right? And it's available for anybody that's willing to make the same choices, you know, that's willing to just go in and be like, look at my life and be like, okay, like, do I really have a good purpose? Like, am I sowing good seeds in the world? You know, and it starts with us, you know, and I think we live in this society right now where we're so worried about what other people are doing, you know, and we completely ignore our output into the world.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that for sure.
It's why people are so off all the time, you know, and why they keep picking up these ridiculous causes and violence is happening and all of this stuff, you know, and it's just confusion.
Yeah.
People are confused on who they are and what direction they're supposed to be going. And then we have platforms to complain and, you know, and blame and point the finger. And, you know, it's go on any social media post that's semi-controversial, dude. And it's unbelievable, the kind of ignorance that you will find in those posts.
Yeah, and I used to be one of those people. That was my favorite pastime, was arguing with people on the internet.
Yeah, and
I get home, I'm like, pour a drink. All right.
My challenge
stirring am I going to do tonight?
Dude, and that's the thing. It's like you get those trolls, right? That's all they want to do is just cause problems.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, how do I identify that, right? How do we fight against that? You know, and so, like, for example, I was communicating with this guy who I need to call because I'd like to see if he wants to be on the podcast, but somebody posted a question of, like, is addiction a choice or a disease? And somebody posted on there, bad choice / moral failure.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, kind of aggressive. Dude, the guy got straight up blasted for it, right? And I'm like, okay, why don't you explain to me what you meant, right? You put 4 words on there. I'm not going to fucking make it pass judgment based on 4 words. What do you mean by this?
Yeah, it was like a puddle that was
Dude, it
3
was,
inches wide,
yes.
10 feet deep.
Well, and then he goes on to explain exactly what we're talking about, right? Like, it is a moral failure. We did make bad choices. He's talking about accountability, right? And identifying those things in our life that have caused those issues, right? It's the whole sober process. But instead of asking questions, people just immediately fire darts at this dude. And they're like, oh, fuck you and fuck that. And, you know, based on what I'm seeing on your Facebook profile, I'm going to make this whole idea of who you are and what you're about. And literally none of it is based in reality.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of it. You know, and it just blows my mind, dude. Like, when I sit my kids down and give them this principled talk and lesson, like, you know, I'm not trying to blast my wife. I love my wife, but like, she kind of rolls her eyes like, oh, here's another lecture. You know, and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you do understand that I'm teaching them life principles.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Sure.
You know, it's important. So, but she just teases me for it. And it's like, it reminds me so much of my dad. But I don't know, dude. I just went on a rant there. Like, I just see all of this hatred and all of this towards other people. And all it is because it's how we feel on the inside about ourselves. You know, we're just too afraid as a society to start doing this, you know, and actually look at our own shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 18 months.
Cool.
Is that no matter what, if I'm involved in it, I have a responsibility.
Yeah, if I'm there observing it, I have something to do with it.
Dude, if my kid punches some other kid at school for no reason, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Right? It's all of it. Like, if my assistant at work makes a mistake on a contract, that's my fault. I didn't train her well enough. You know, and it's like, if we can approach the world like that, of like, okay, how can I take responsibility for my role? And then how can I use that to plug into society in a positive way?
Yeah, I met a guy when I first got into sobriety. This go around, and you always say, my name is this, and the problem's me.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, and so many people look at that and it's like, we want to feel good, right? We want our heart to be full of fucking butterflies and whatever. Dude, it is so far from reality. Like, life is hard.
It is hard. Yeah.
It's going to be hard whether you decide to be an alcoholic or an addict. And it's going to be hard whether you decide to be successful and follow your dreams. You know, and honestly, this side of it is probably going to be fucking harder.
Yeah.
Right? Because you are plugged into everything. You are seeing the reality of it. All of it, dude. Like, another example. Boundaries, dude. I'm like setting boundaries in my life. It's just crazy to notice these changes, right?
Yeah.
Because, dude, for 20 years, I wouldn't give a shit how you talk to me, right? Really wouldn't care. But it was just, I don't know, dude. It was everything about this situation that just really, and it just clung on to my heart and my soul, you know? And so it's just, but I'm grateful for it, right? It's another area for me to grow.
Yeah. Well, we're not saints, you know. We strive towards spiritual progress versus spiritual perfection.
Right. What did I say? Like, my daughter the other night, she's 7, and she was like, Dad, I'm just a perfectionist. And I was like, dude, you're not a perfectionist. You're a progressionist.
Yeah, that's good.
Copywriting that. But that's true, dude. Like, and everything I'm setting up in my life too, there's grace in all of it, right? There's, hey, this is like an excellent day, this is a normal day, and this is something that you never fall below.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's grace in everything that we do. And I think that if we don't do that, we'll derail ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And I've done that for so long. So, I don't know. I just, I just want to go back and talk about some of that stuff, take accountability for my life.
Yeah.
Because ultimately I chose to drink. I chose to do all these things, I chose to punch the window and, cause all these. So it's like, you gotta do that. If you really want to release these things from your life. And the hand, like me punching the window, is something I've actually not traumatically dealt with that trauma.
Yeah.
I recently had a life coach that asked me to pick out 4 major life events that changed the trajectory of my life. And that was one of them. And I haven't been able to go any farther in that because it's just like, I'm like, dude, there's a lot of other people involved in this that I don't know how we're going to respond to it. And I don't remember what happened. So there's a lot of fear. But I've actually thought about just documenting the entire process from like beginning to end and just seeing if the people that need to be talked to are willing to do it on tape and just document like how we would actually deal with a traumatic situation, right? Yeah. Show you a real world example of like how you would do it. If you're dealing with some shit, and like just take cameras and phones around and just document that whole process.
Yeah.
But it sucks, dude. Like there's real fear in that. And I'm very hesitant to open that door and peel that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of courage to do that kind of stuff,
Yeah. And it's like my mom, bro. Like, she was the one that saved my life, basically. And I don't know really where my dad was. I know there was other people there. My 8th grade basketball coach was the EMT. Like, it was just a really weird, like, seriously, dude. It's just a weird situation, man.
Yeah.
So... but a lot of good has come out of it, And I think the hard part about all that is I drank for 12 more years.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that alcohol was really the problem.
Well, it was the solution.
Well, at that point, yeah. I don't know. So I just, where I'm at, dude, where we're at today is crazy. It's hard. Life's hard, but it's manageable, and I feel like my relationships are successful. The endeavors that we're diving into are successful. Like, we just keep surrounding ourselves with good people and people that really want to support us, and vice versa. And so it's good, man. Like, I don't think there's anything I would change about where we're at right now.
Yeah. It's an interesting shift to have occur, right?
It is.
And I think that's true growth is when you realize everything that's happened has led me up to this point right now. So why would I change anything?
Yeah. And like I said, I think the only thing I would change is just the people that got hurt along the way.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. Like, I'm just, like I said, I'm just grateful, and I'm grateful for the community that we're building, the community that supports this podcast. Like, I don't know, man. When I look at Beyond the Buzz and Shattered Darkness, dude, I see change on a systemic level. Like, I see us in a national spotlight talking about mental health care on a national scale, making it accessible, empowering people, instead of the other way around, and helping people wake up and find the purpose in life. And, we're starting to see traction in Beyond the Buzz and helping people that have come through addictions support their passions, support their dreams, right? Their businesses, whatever they're doing with their life, and then really just bring together as many sober people as we can and get involved in our community, community projects. I have no idea what that looks like, right? But like just leading with faith and leading with sobriety and not being ashamed of the things that we've been through, and the scars that we have. But really just using those to change the world, and change our environments.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite analogies is, I don't know if you've heard of Damon West, but he's like a huge public speaker, coach, whatever. But he went to prison for like 7 years, I think. And he was like breaking into people's houses and, addiction and all that shit. And he got arrested. And when he got arrested, he went to prison. And he met this guy that said, dude, prison is like a pot of boiling hot water, right? And you can be one of 3 things. You can be an egg, a coffee bean, or a carrot, right? An egg gets hard in hot water. A carrot gets soft in hot water, but a coffee bean completely changes its environment. It turns water into something else.
Yeah, interesting.
Right? And so it's like, think about that, dude. Like, that's what I feel like addicts have the opportunity to do. And it's not just addicts, right? Like, it's not just people that struggle with drugs and alcohol, right? It's the people that see the world differently.
Yeah.
It's not because you're an addict. It's a gift, right? It's something that led you down a dark path, but it also can lead you down a very light path.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like that thing in our brain, it's just, there's no gray area, dude. It just creates these extremes in life, you know, but we need people like that.
Yeah.
You know, desperately need people like that. You know, those are the visionaries. Those are the ones that build the pyramids. Those are the ones that build airplanes, you know, that push the limits.
Yeah.
Right? And it's necessary. Like, it's for human growth and human expansion and all of this kind of thing. Like, it's just necessary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah. Well, I think also an important part of recovery is to learn, you know, we've experienced the ups and the downs so widely and vividly that moving into a state of neutrality.
Dude, and think about the words that you just used there. Like, let's not breeze up. Those are really great descriptive words. Vividly, widely, and vividly. Think about that. Your view on the world is so much greater than somebody that's in one lane,
Yeah.
right? That's the shit that we're talking about, dude. That's why alcohol and drugs were a solution.
Yeah.
Because of that viewpoint, because the fact that we can see past the veil, right? And that's the part that's like, it's so hard to quantify that, dude, and it's so hard to explain that, right? But it's like, I have this ability to see through people in a very short time of knowing them,
Yeah.
you know? And I think it's just because of that practice of seeing and paying such close attention to people around me and human nature and all of those kinds of things, you know, the wide view. And it shows up so vividly. You're right. Like, we just see it when other people don't.
Yeah.
So that's a great way of describing that. Like,
I think it helps with compassion too.
yeah,
You know,
that most people are empathetic.
yeah. I think most people in recovery are very empathetic and
You ever find
have high
yourself?
compassion for each other because, and even people outside of addiction, it's like you might not know firsthand experience what they're going through, but you've gone through your own enough shit on your own that it helps bring understanding.
Right. I just think that that's the way that I've processed the world, right? And learned. Like they say, school of hard knocks. Like, I never went to college, graduated high school, obviously. Like, I'm not a stupid person. Concepts, principles, things like that, dude, so keyed in on.
Yeah.
Right? Creativity, not so much, you know, and new things like AI and technology and all of that. Like, if I sit down and do it,
Yeah.
you know, I'm smart enough to be able to be like, okay, there's a process here, I can figure that out. Right? But it just takes a lot of time. And then using the tools that you have to create bigger ideas, I struggle with that. Right? That's where I'm like, hey, Elliot, do you want to produce this podcast? So, but it's knowing the tools and gifts that we have, right? Like knowing who we are, what we're good at.
Yeah, and I think an important part of life, I think the reason why life is so difficult, I think it's by design, but also it's by design because if we were just given our gifts, what's the point?
Well,
I mean, we're given our gifts, but what's the point of already knowing it as soon as you come into the world?
Yeah.
You know, to me, the whole process of life is to discover those gifts
and then,
that everybody has, and then sharing that with the world.
thank you. That's the point, right? Is sharing it, right?
Yeah.
And being like, hey, this is what I'm good at, and you're really good at this. And if we bring those two things together, like, what can we create? It's community, dude.
Yeah.
And right, it's exactly what we're created for.
Yeah.
Right.
And in my episode, I think it was part 1 or part 2, I can't remember. I said that you are morally obligated to do great things.
Yes.
And that's why, is because every single person has their thing that they're really great at. And a lot of people never discover that.
Dude, and that's
because they get drugged down by everything else.
Or they don't see value in it.
Right.
Right? For so long, I didn't see value in my capability and my passion for people. Mm-hmm. I didn't see the value in it. I was like, how the fuck is this ever going to make me any money?
Yeah.
You know, and really, honestly, that was my only thought is like, I just have to make money. Right. And no, dude, like I was never motivated by money. Still am not. You know, the only reason I'm motivated by it now is because it gives us the opportunity to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Right. To feed into the vision, to feed into the passion, all of that kind of stuff. Right. So that's where the why lies now. It's not in the dollar. You know, it's more in this idea of bringing people together, you know, of ending this fucking division that we're experiencing on a national scale. Yeah. Right. Like it's absolutely asinine to me. So I don't know, dude. Like my goal with this is one, to destigmatize sobriety.
Yeah. And I think that's happening for sure.
I do too.
I mean, before the camera started rolling, I was sharing that my cousin has watched a couple of episodes now. Mine, Nadia's, I think one other one.
Yeah.
And she said that it's just opened up a whole new understanding of like what people go through an addiction,
yep.
what the whole process is. Because to somebody who's normal, who doesn't struggle with drugs and alcohol, they just don't get it. You know?
What was I can't remember the guy's name, but the podcast that you sent me the other day was really good because he's talking about addiction, right? And everybody can identify with it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, why are we ostracized into this category, right, of needing to get sober, like social media, porn, food, whatever.
Phones in general.
Phones, fucking scrolling, dude. Like,
I mean, working out can be an addiction.
Exactly. It's work. You know, whatever you're doing to distract yourself from your reality is an addiction.
Yeah.
It's keeping you from looking at your reality. And that is, dude, it's like we are pre-programmed to avoid reality with social media, with all of these things that we have at our fingertips. Like, stop letting the people that be, whatever, control your day in and day out.
Yeah.
You know, like that's exactly what's happening is people are just allowing other people to control what they do and how they act and how they feel. And it's fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no, let's break this down and look at the reality here. Like, your life is a shit show because of X, Y, and Z, and you refuse to look at it. So you're out doing X, Y, and Z, responding to the world in exactly the way that you feel on the inside.
Yeah. I think in short, it can be go outside, touch grass, talk to your neighbor, and love yourself and love God.
Like, just when you get pissed at somebody, give them a fucking hug or pray for them. Mm-hmm. You know, like, or ask a question. Oh, heaven forbid we ask a fucking question. What did you mean by that?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah.
What's in your heart? What's behind that? Right? Jesus, like, heaven forbid that we do that.
Well, that's one of the downsides, I think, of today's world is it's harder to just sit down and ask questions and be like, what do you mean by that? I want to understand. And everything is so geared towards disagreement that sitting down and really finding common ground with people is more difficult now because of phones and social media.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, if you look at mental health decline, a lot of it started, they've done studies on phone use and social media, and a lot of it has started to go in decline because we're just not going out and talking to people. It's so easy to go online and look at somebody with the opposite political view or the thing that you brought up about, addiction being a moral failure, instead of just sitting down and being like, hey, what do you mean by that?
It is.
Tell me more.
Addiction at its core is a moral failure.
Yeah.
Period. Because you're deciding to set aside what's important to you for something else that has no impact on your life.
So let's dive deeper into that. What do you think? Do you think there's a difference of what if you get into addiction before you even, while you're still building blocks of moral?
Dude, I think it's the thing is like, once you know, right?
Sure.
And I think I think this is the mission in Christianity too. It's like, it always surprised me that people spend more time in the church. I'm like, why are you spending time here? Everybody here knows God.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we need to go find people that don't know God. And it's not even go shove it down their throat. It's just like, hey, let's just go have a conversation with them, and see what happens, right? Like, it's the same kind of thing, dude. Like, you don't know what you don't know. I'm probably right now developing addictions that I don't know exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's human nature.
Yeah.
And there's got to be room and grace for human nature. But once we know that it's there and we choose to do nothing, that is a moral failure.
Okay.
Period. Right? So now I know, like I knew for years that I was struggling with alcohol, but I chose to continue to do it because of the way that it made me feel. And the moral failure lies in everything that my family had to go through, right? I was not a good husband. I was a dangerous husband. I was a dangerous father. I was verbally abusive.
Yeah.
Creating trauma. You know what I mean? Like those were all things, that is a fucking moral failure. Yeah. I'm sorry, because my moral compass states that I never do that, right? My minimum is that I show up for my kids. I love them. I speak into their life. I'm a pillar of strength for them. That's a minimum.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, I didn't provide that for them. So yeah, it's a fucking moral failure, period.
Yeah.
Right? At its core, it is. And until you, the addict, can accept that, nothing in your life will change, period.
Yeah.
And I'm yelling, I get like, I want people to hear this. It doesn't start with other people changing to fit into your life.
No.
It starts the other way around.
Yeah.
You can only control you.
Yeah.
How you react, how you respond. Yes, there are things that are out of our control that happen to us, right? Cancer, car accidents, really bad shit, right? But some of the most inspirational people and stories and things that we hear are the ones that choose in the midst of the fucking chaos to not be a victim, right? To be a player.
Yeah.
And fucking tune in next week, because the guy that we have coming on next week is the definition of a fucking player, dude.
Yeah.
This guy had a stroke. Super good looking guy, tall, buff, late 40s, beautiful wife, 2 beautiful girls. Everything was going well for him. Had a great business that him and his wife were creating around marriage and entrepreneurship. It was taking off. Fucking guy has a stroke. Completely paralyzed to the left side of his body overnight, dude. And the way that they've responded to life is unbelievable. It makes me want to cry because it's so inspirational. They are choosing not to let this define their future and who they are, but instead they're using their pain to help other people. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's the kind of shit that we read in books, dude. That's the kind of stuff that we create little stupid phrases and put on our walls, right? We have the opportunities. I'm like almost in tears about this because I believe in this so much. Like we have opportunities every single fucking day to do that.
Yeah.
Every day. This dude that I'm struggling with in business, that is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it hard? Heck yeah, it's hard, dude. It's so hard. But because it's hard, I will learn an insanely valuable lesson, right? And if the world just did that, get the fuck off your phone, and go talk to a human being.
Touch
Next
grass.
time, yes. Say hi to a stranger you know what me and my kids did the other day? This was great. We were waiting for our groceries in the Walmart parking lot, and we had this like house EDM music on, and dude, I was just like getting out, moving stuff around, and I made my kids get out of the car, and we were all just dancing in the back of my truck.
Cool.
In the bed of my truck. And so many people are walking by, like, look at, like, some guys are like, nice moves. And dude, we're just we changed people's day in a positive way.
Yeah.
Just because we're sharing and being vulnerable, right? We're sharing the good emotions that are flowing through us. That's all it is, dude. But instead we focus on all the negativity, right? Oh, that guy went and changed his gender, and I have to hate him because the Bible says to not do this.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're taking doctrine and we're not looking at the human.
Yeah.
And it's very, 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 very real in the New Testament. And it's very obvious that Jesus tells us not to do that.
Yeah.
Speaks against the Pharisees. Who cares about the rules? Fuck the rules.
Yeah.
Right? It's about the people. It's about the relationship. It's about the heart. Right? Who cares about the rules?
Yeah.
Because honestly, dude, at the end of the day, there really are no fucking rules. Yeah. You know what I mean? The only rule is focus on what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so good, that's it. But we overcomplicate everything, and I'm as guilty as, we're all guilty of it. I'm as guilty as the next person, right? But once you know, And once you know, you have a moral responsibility to do the right thing and to change your behaviors.
Yeah.
Right? That's my honest opinion. And the weakness lies in not being vulnerable, in not being willing to go into those things. Men, I'm speaking to you. Weakness is shoving it. Strength is coming to your family and telling them that you're broken and getting help for it. Identifying the issues in your life. You want to be a man? Break yourself down. You want to be a man? Sacrifice yourself for your family. Serve them. It's the hardest fucking thing you'll ever do in your life. But it will fulfill you, and it will fulfill your family and your children and the people around you. Be a man and be vulnerable. That is what I've learned. Dude, I'm willing to tell you anything that I've been through, any mistake that I've made, all of it, because all of it is shaped who is sitting in this chair right now. You know, and I'm proud of the person that I am today.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, and I'm proud of the things that we're doing and the impact that we're having. And I hope all I want is to just be an inspiration.
Yeah. And it's not, I'm not in position to speak on behalf of women, obviously, but I think it's both genders should do that.
Absolutely. I think
because
it's an
if both
individual
genders
thing.
do it,
right.
You know,
and you know what, like we can
more understanding and more connection will just happen.
Dude, and this is a great example. My wife and I went through this thing, and I need to finish it, but we're in this marriage mastermind group, and I'm just going to end with this. But at the end of it, they said, I want you guys to write down 10 things that your spouse can do that make you feel loved, right? My initial response is, hey, if you don't do this, right, it's all these things that I'm like, no, that's not, like, I need to focus on me. So it's like, scratch my back, right? Send me a naughty picture during the day. You know, like things like that, like surprise fellatio, like whatever. Like these are the things that are important to me. Mm-hmm. They don't need to make sense to you. And then she does the same thing. And I've got it right there where my morning shit is, right? All the stuff that I got to do to get ready is right there, a list of 10 things. And I can pick one of those 10 things to do for her every day.
Yeah.
Right? Do I do it every day? No, it's awesome, dude. And it's just like those little things, she's doing it and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Those little things are bringing us together, and they solve the unseen bullshit, the resentments, the stories that we tell ourselves.
Unsaid desires.
Right, you know? And it's just like, and the other thing about it is, how would I ever expect my wife to know these things if I didn't fucking tell her?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just not fair. I just expect her to know that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair.
Well, I think what's important in that kind of exercise, too, is she might not even know some of the things until it's put down on paper.
Right.
And really, like, intentional.
Well, or you forget about it because it's not in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Like, me making the bed is something I've never fucking done. I hate doing it.
Yeah.
But it's super important to her, right? So I don't think about that ever.
Yeah.
But now when I read this list, it's like, oh, that's important to her. Oh, it's important to her that I... don't leave my fucking clothes on the floor and put them in the hamper. It's really dumb shit to me.
Yeah.
But it carries a lot of weight with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what we do with the world, right? Is we get on social media, we create these stories, and then we believe them as fact.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you ever actually talked to the person? And it's just like, I bet if you did, that you might be able to find some common ground, So, yeah. I don't know, dude, it's crazy. Like,
I think finding common ground is so important right now. Like over the last year, I found my opinions on certain topics have changed dramatically just because I'm interacting with people, working here at Love Shack. It's like I'm interacting with people that I normally wouldn't. And
dude, me too.
Yeah, somebody close in my life said, you have grown a lot over this year.
Yep.
I
wish I would have known you prior to all of this. Because it's like all I know is the sober Elliot.
Yeah.
But
well, that's good because if I ever screw up, you'll know.
Yeah. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I'm sitting here, dude. But no, it's just I just want to challenge myself daily. I want to challenge the people around me. I want to challenge you guys. Like, we really can lead by example.
Yeah.
And your truth is different than my truth in this, but you know what? I think there's one underlying universal fact. There's good and there's evil. There's light and there's dark, right? There is always a battle going on, always. Spiritually, physically, whatever, but it's always between good and fucking evil, dude.
Yeah.
So which side are you on?
Yeah. I mean,
It's not Democrat versus Republican.
no.
You know, it's none of that shit anymore. Look at the stuff that's going on. How can child trafficking be $1 billion industry?
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can that be $1 billion? And it's happening. Like, and everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
And it's just, you want to talk about a moral failure? What the fuck? You know, the Epstein files. 99% of our leadership is in some way a felon.
Well, it's not even our leadership, it's the world.
The world.
leadership.
And are we surprised by that?
I'm not. I mean,
No,
I called
it's-
all this out
dude,
10 years ago. I
Look
got
at
pissed.
human nature on its, like, just look at human nature as its own thing, right?
Yeah.
What would you do if you were in control of 8.5 billion people?
Yeah.
Would you do the right thing? Fuck no. Would you compromise your soul, your morals to lead? Probably. I'm going to say 99% of the time, most likely, right? Because what's the other side of that coin? It's fucking anarchy and chaos and war and all of this other shit, right? So, I don't know, dude. Like, I think we're not going to escape it, right? And it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change until we start pointing the finger at ourselves,
Yeah.
you know, and stop, like, just accept the fact that we're all a bunch of broken, fucked up people, right? And we just need to start doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you know? That's it. And admit it when you do the wrong thing.
Yeah. And I'll even expand on that. What you just said, there's good and then there's evil. I view it more as like frequency of energy. There's higher frequencies and then there's lower frequencies. And the higher ones are a lot better.
Yeah, dude.
But you can't always be there.
No.
There's always going to be ups and downs.
You know, and that's the thing is like frequency and God and it's all the same thing.
Yeah. No, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing, dude. What plugs you in while you're awake? What makes you feel buzzed like you're literally electric while you're awake? You know, that's the shit that you need to pursue.
Yeah.
That high energy, right? Irene Merriman is one of my favorite people in this regard. It's her light, right? I should say her light. Like nobody can take her light. You know, and I love that, dude. I've used that so many times because it's true. You know, and everywhere in the Bible, God is light. God is love. God is this. Does God allow bad things to happen? Yes, because bad things teach us, right? Pain creates success.
Yeah.
It has to happen. It's all part of the process. So why as humans are we so afraid of fucking failure and pain?
Yeah.
You know, and all we want to do is feel good. It's like, no, dude, I want to dive into a pool of fucking razor blades. Like, let's go make shit hard.
Yeah.
You know, the harder it is, the better the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. With the intention of growing.
Exactly.
I think that's important.
And
to add in
sowing
there
good
because-
seeds, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where it comes back to me. It's simple of good and evil. Am I sowing good, or am I? Because inside of that, it's such a broad spectrum. There's room for humanity, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Right? David in the Bible is one of the most popular biblical characters. Was a murderer and an adulteress, right? Like mistakes.
Yeah.
But he was a man after God's own heart. That's what God called him.
Yeah.
Right? So God realizes that we are who we are. Right? And it's like once we know what the right path is, our responsibility is to take that path, no matter how difficult it is.
Yeah.
Right? No matter how difficult, no matter what, and especially men, it's going to require sacrifice.
Yeah.
Period. Personal sacrifice. Your time, your talents, your treasure. You know, it's going to require something from you.
Yeah. And then being led blindly by faith, which is something I'm starting to do over the last couple months.
And dude, if the faith thing is hard for you, then just be led by that energy.
Yeah.
Right? That like just do things that are gonna plug you in.
Yeah. And I think people who like have a challenge with faith, something that's opened the door to me is I have a feeling that I should do this. Factually, it's against all the facts. This way that I was going seems to factually be the best way. But something keeps pulling me over here, even though it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, man.
That's what faith is to me.
That's
you know,
exactly
and
what
that's
it is.
like, it's just gut feeling.
That's exactly
You know?
what it is.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's the thing is like I think in church, especially I'm a millennial, I'm 39, so I think people around my age and younger can probably identify with this, but like maybe not younger, maybe even older. Dude, we were taught that God was fear. You know, that we had to do this certain set of things, and if we got out of line, that we're going to like burn in the lake of fire.
Yeah.
You know, and that is not true, dude. It's all about where your heart's at.
Yeah.
Right? Where's your relationship with Christ? How are you plugging into the world? You know, I don't think that because I say bad words all the time and my 5-year-old can use the word fucker, like it's perfect, is that going to send me to hell? No.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, dude, like, I'm sorry.
Well, I would even push against what you just said a little bit. Like, I think we do burn in hell, but the hell that we burn in is here. Hell on earth. It's hell within yourself. It's not so much of like, in my opinion, it's not so much after we die, we're going to go somewhere. It's where we are right now. Dude, we are living. The kingdom of heaven is within us.
Yes.
And we're either living there or we're living in hell.
Exactly.
And it's not like after we die, this is my opinion, after we die, we go there. We're there every moment. And the choice is always available to us to change. You know, it was like that painting that I was talking about in my episode. I think it was a Picasso or something where God and man are have their fingers out to each other, and God's finger or man's finger is, if you just raise it a little bit,
you can touch it.
You can touch it. Yeah,
dude, it's crazy to think about that too. Like I honestly think that you just embodied spirituality in every sense of the way, because whether you label it God or not, dude, it's this overwhelming sense to go just do right, like good things, right? And I think that people do, on the other side of that coin, have the overwhelming sense to do bad things. You know what I mean? And it's so evil and they're just so selfish, and it's so ingrained in them, right? Like, I do think that there is that, right? And I think that when you boil it down to its basics, that the world is good and evil. It's yin and yang, dude. You know, and it's this constant battle of light and dark and balance in nature and all of it, you know, and we're just plugging into that in our short period of time on this little marble, you know, and I have no fucking clue what happens when we leave. But I think that you're probably right, dude. Like, everything in the Bible speaks to the now, right? The right now, the love God, love people. My name, like God says, my name is not I was. I don't live in the past, right? My name is not I will be.
Yeah.
I don't live in the future. My name is I am.
Yeah.
I live in this moment right now.
Be still and know that I am God.
Dude, and all of those things, all of them are trying to ground you into this present moment of being a human being, and how God can channel his energy and his positivity through you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that Satan and evil does the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. Right? I think whatever you allow in is what you're going to become. Right? And so it goes into the sense of, is weed a gateway drug? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
For some it is, for some it's not.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, right? But I just think it's what you allow into your life is going to become your reality. And I think I think Cash said this, it's very important that you recognize what season of life you're in.
Yeah.
You know, and who you are. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think who we are is always changing.
Yeah.
I think, you good?
Yeah.
And I think that's good, right? I think it's okay. We're growing, right? Or we're digressing, right?
Yeah.
And we're learning, you know, 2 steps backward, 1 step forward. Like, that happens, you know? And so there's got to be grace for all of it. And I just think as long as we're trying to move in the right direction and make the right decisions, that we're doing the right things.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, one of my favorite lines in the AA book is we came to a question of deciding whether God is everything or God is nothing. And that's a big one.
Dude,
it's so easy to like. I
struggled with that too.
I struggle with it too. I mean, that's like, it's the ultimate acceptance. It is ultimate acceptance to realize that everything.
Dude, and have you realized too, and this is something I've just noticed, but when I'm willing to truly sacrifice myself, like, amazing things happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Being of service.
Yeah, and it's these, like, I've actually taught my kids what the word dichotomy means, because life is full of them, dude. Right? And it's just like, even though I feel like I want to do this, like, the right thing is over here. Right? Like, there's that dichotomy. Like, everybody in the world is going to tell you that, hey, yeah, you should go that way because it feels right.
Yeah.
Right? The dichotomy lies in, no, the right thing to do is actually over here.
Yeah. Right. I like to think of my life as like a radar screen. on the radar screen. I have all these little blimps of stuff in my awareness. But outside the radar screen's only a couple inches wide. But there's a whole wide world outside the radar screen that I am not even aware of yet.
Right. That's really good. Did you know what I see myself as like the salmon run in Alaska. Yeah. I'm like the one fucking salmon going the wrong way. That's how I look at myself. Like, I'm like, nah, dude, I think I'm going to challenge that.
Yeah.
Like, even if you are right, like I'm just going to play devil's advocate to see where this goes. Mm-hmm. You know, and disrupt the normal way of thinking, and I just want to disrupt your thought process.
Yeah.
You know, and disrupt and be like, hey, you should check that. Or, hey, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Or, hey, let's go a little farther into that.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and that's kind of the barrier to entry of being like in my closer friend circle is like if I can't have conversations with somebody that's like, well, what do you mean by that? Or tell me more about that. Or have you thought about this? And, you know, and there's a time and a place for everything, right?
Yep.
I'm not always like that, but, the people that value that, they might not always agree, and that's fine.
Which is awesome, dude. Yeah. Like, I think some of my favorite people in my life are the ones that don't usually agree with me. I mean, for fuck's sake, I married one of them. I mean, she doesn't agree with anything I say.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's
keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know, dude. But you have to be open to that, right? Like, you have to be willing to receive it. And it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, oh, shit. But good things always come out of it.
Yeah.
Always. So... All right, well, dude, we're going to wrap up our episode. So we'll do the question. Last week, if you guys remember, we had Melissa Moore on, and she left a question. This is a fucking good one, and of course, I have to answer it. All right, Mel, you asshole. So it says, who in your life has been an anchor or constant helping you with sobriety? So there's a few for me, but obviously my wife is the first one. I mean, she had every right to leave, you know, and didn't. And just, I realized lately it's because of her sense of independence. Like, she has a very deep sense of independence, which I've kind of resented since getting sober. But now I'm realizing that I'm very grateful for it, because without that, you know, I probably wouldn't have a marriage. So
yeah,
definitely my wife. Also my brother, my younger brother was huge support for that. They basically picked out like my rehab facility, and they really were there. Like, my brother bailed me out of jail. Like, so they were really there. And not only that, like, they showed up gracefully, you know, like, they didn't judge me. They knew I was broken. They knew I needed help, and they helped, you know, and they loved me through it. So those two for sure. The second part of Mel's question is tough, but it says, who or what relationship was compromised because of your addiction? This is a tough question to answer because, one, I probably don't know. I would say definitely my marriage. She had to create a life outside of me mentally and I think spiritually. You know, she just had to figure out a way to not be emotionally tied to what was going on. So that's probably the biggest one that I compromised, was my marriage and the trust in my marriage. Yeah. And I'm seeing it, right? Like, we're having to rebuild that. I'm having to rebuild that just by consistency, you know, and doing the things that I say and things like that. I feel like some of my business relationships were compromised because of it. I still feel like I'm understanding what the fallout is. You know, I'm about 19, 20 months sober from my last drink. So I think I'm still really understanding kind of what that looks like. And then my kids, dude, like, I created trauma in my daughter for sure. You know, and now I see she's afraid of the world, you know, which I think was probably natural for her. So she's kind of afraid of the world and very pessimistic, which is my natural inclination. So there's that. I've had to spend a lot of time with her and just her heart, you know, and really getting her to open up. I think a lot of that caused her to close down. And so she doesn't talk about her emotions very often. But we're working through all of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really been good. Like I said, it's given me an opportunity to explain to them what was going on. explained to them how big the failure was in my life. And now they get to see me put it back together,
Yeah.
you know, and pick myself up. And so I think that's huge, right? Like, I think that's the biggest win in all of it is they get to see a real world example of like really coming through the shit. So I think they'll be better for it. But yeah, dude, there's definitely some shit that we had to deal with.
Yeah.
But good question, Melissa Moore. That was a good one. I had to think about that one. But anyways, we just wanted to say thank you guys. With that, we'll wrap up our episode number 51. And don't forget to tune in next week because I am telling you, next week's episode is going to be fucking awesome. Jeremy is amazing. Amy is amazing. And I'm telling you, like, just being around them, you will learn just from their energy. So make sure you guys check that one out. And we love you guys. Please click all the buttons, subscribe. We've noticed our YouTube channel has been going up and up and up. I mean, ever since Elliot jumped on this thing. So please help us keep that going. And, you know, the bigger we get, the bigger impact that we can have in this space, in this community. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.